Hello everybody and welcome back to Alma. So I am just on my way to go sell some milk because the milk is really building up. So we're going to get some money in because it's holding a bit of value to it because we have moved on 2 months since the previous episode. So that's why the bank balance is now down to 81,000. So this will bump it up slightly for us because we are then going to move on another month. And then we can look at doing alfalfa, soybeans and our corn harvest, which leads me to think I've forgotten where I'm going with with the milk. And I must have emptied it all, did I? Goat's milk. I did do. So let's go on to here. And let's go for... Where are we looking? We're very blind. Or is it just under milk? Yeah, milk. So we are going to the bakery, which the bakery is this first one, because in the previous episode when we sold it, we went to other one, the one just a little bit further. So the trigger should pop up here. So let's get this sold. Let's see how much we make here. What would be lovely is anywhere sort of between 15 to 20,000 dollars would be very, very helpful for us. 1,000 litres left to go. And so, well, you can't get much more in the middle than that, can you? Obviously with the environmental score it takes it up to over 18,000. Right, I'm going to take this back to the yard. We can leave this by the cow shed. We're going to move on another month, and then when we do that we're going to have to go feed all the animals to make sure they're all fine. Yeah, and then it should lead us to... Apologies to go back onto here. So we're in March. So April we can get our corn in. So we do need to still wait for our ploughman to finish in that field. And then we can also, for soybeans, we can get them in as well. So I'll just pull up here onto the left here. I will get the milk tanker off. So we'll drop that off. We'll whip this round back to the farmhouse, and then, like I say, we'll sleep and move on. Make a mix of food, get everything ready, and then we should be able to get going at that. I'll have to have a look at my silos up at the top to see. We should have plenty of seed in there for the planter, but that planter can do fertiliser as well, so I'm going to have to look at getting some fertiliser. Right. Oh, one thing I did notice is moving through the months, this house, it changes colour. Not change colour, but when you get frost and snow on the ground, the house then comes covered in frost, which I think is a very lovely sort of add-on. By the looks of it, we lose about £16,000 every month, just in our hire purchase pods and in our loan. But right, where did I leave our grain trailer? There. Right, we're going to get on, we're going to get all these animals fed, and then we can start to look at other things. And there we go. So that should be all the animals. So let's just go have a quick look. So the chickens are full of food, the cows are full of food and full of straw, and the sheep are full of food. I wish you could put straw in, you know, some straw bedding in for them to get manure again out. But right, I do want to have a look. Will we see if we just go near the shed? where we see what have we got in here. So we've got 53,000 litres of manure and 69 litres of slurry. So by the time we get to harvest, we should have enough to warrant renting a slurry tanker and or a manure spreader. So we need this now, which is probably not the best of things to use because of the tracks. But we'll get the mowers on it, and we can go and get that alfalfa cut. And then I was half toying with the alfalfa, whether to do half the field as hay and half the field as silage, but I think it would probably be best to do one whole cut. There's no messing around doing it this way. Doing one whole cut of hay first, because hay I think is the one thing that we're going to be going through the most of, and then our next cut can be silage, and if we keep alternating it like that, we shouldn't be too bad. What happened there? Well, right, let's get these on and we'll make our way to the alfalfa field. So I'm doing all these little jobs here because I just need time for our worker to finish ploughing, because it is taking him a bit of time to do his job, but obviously it's a huge field, and I forget what it is it 6 metres, that plough, which it doesn't help that there isn't any real sort of straight lines for him either. So our worker, regardless, is doing a very, very good job. Right, we don't want swath, we want to keep everything up like so. We need to go into our GPS settings and get that all done. Then if we turn on and drop them both down, let's get that GPS on, there we go. So with the alfalfa almost finished, I'm going to set the worker on in here with the tedder, and then we will go and obviously he'll do that in the small John Deere because that's about capable of doing that. We will then go have a look at the planter to go get seed and fertiliser in, and then we've got one or two choices. We either go to field, let's get into the map quickly. So we either go to field 8, which soybeans or corn, or we go to field 32. My thinking is soybeans is a low yielding crop but high value. With field 32 being what I believe is the best field on the map, that should go into soybeans to give us the most amount there. And then 1 can go into corn again, and so can 8. That's, oh, hello. Oopsie. Right, we'll turn these off and get these folded up, and we'll take these back to the shed. Probably should have cleaned these, but hey ho, I think it should be alright. Let's have a... Oh, brilliant, so he is now on the headland, so by the looks of that, he's possibly done his... That could be his second one, I'm going to say. So by the time we've got 2 fields drilled, rolled and the likes, and obviously that alfalfa field tedded, windrowed and baled, this field shouldn't be too far away. Ideally it will want pressing first, or discarroting. Right, there is, we can leave them just for the time being. This is what I want. Let's go get the tedder on here and we'll set this off in the alfalfa field. One thing that I wish Giants would have more of is this older machinery. Like, I understand why the brands that they have in the game, they want to sort of showcase all their, like, the newest, latest and most exciting sort of stuff that they've got. I understand all that. But to have more older, yeah, it's just, likes of these are brilliant. And I'll tell you, that's one of the good things, or one of the best things for me, is with the modding community, how they just seem to bring all these amazing mods out. But right, let's go get the planter and we'll see how much seed we have up here. We may have to get another silo for fertiliser. Right, so it's a small one, I think is our seed one. So let's pull into there, and what's... Okay, let's hop out and go. So that one's got lime in it, and what's this one got? So it's got 5,000 litres of seed. Let's just go. Construction... is it under containers, I think? What's that one? I don't know which one does what. It must be one of those ones. Which one's that one I got there? Karma 10. Right, we'll put down another one of these. I'll put it a bit further up here. Like so. So there's £11,000 gone. And if we nip to here, we can... Solid fertiliser, we don't want that much at all. Let's go 5,000 litres of solid fertiliser. And then it may be a case of... Why won't it let me? Let's just pull back to this one. Solid fertiliser, let's fill that up. And now let's... Seeds, there we go. Let's fill that up. Right, we're going to go do the soybeans first, because then we are closest to the store, so we can leave the planter... We'll better go this way around. So then we can leave the planter in the field when we're done and go grab the rolls. And then at least we're halfway back to the farmyard when we move on from that field to go do corn. I've also just remembered soybeans. They don't need fertiliser, do they? In precision farming. So just spent all that money just then for no reason for this field. But obviously when we go do the corn, we'll need it. But yeah, it's one of the brilliant things about soybeans. High cost, high profit, I should say. So low seed rate, no fertiliser needed, and you get max value. So let's fold this up. This is one of the best planters in the game, in my opinion. Fair dues, you've got to work the field. You can't just direct drill. But for what it does, it's brilliant. So 2 headlands. So we'll start on this smaller one down here. To turn on, we'll just drop it down, and then it'll be interesting to see, because I'm sure there's a rolling mod out, or there's 1 or 2 rolling mods out, where I think it says certain crops you don't need to roll. So I'm interested to see when I get onto the corn whether that's one, and also whether the stones disappear. the corn has a higher seed rate than what soybeans have. Because if we'll just get to the end here and we can turn off and lift up. This field that we've just done is 7.66 acres, and then this one, oh, so this field's actually smaller. I thought it looked bigger, to be fair. Anyways, so that's because if you look at our seed consumption there, which way is the hitch on here? I can't remember now. Let's unfold it. That was right. Okay, so it's there. Yeah, so this, we just managed to do that. We had 64 litres left, so and/or 9%. So we'll go back and we'll fill this up. I know I did say about going to, the reason to do this one first was so that we could get the rollers. But then when I was mentioning about this mod, which means that some crops you don't need to roll, I would like to see which one, whether it's, well, one, whether I've got it installed, and two, which crops it is. So if we, likes of the soybeans now, if we go to needs rolling, right, so the soybeans, they have to be rolled. Right, let's get back to the farm, let's load this back up with seed. And weirdly, it's used some solid fertiliser there, which is interesting. So let's just pull through. We may just be able to do a drive-by here. So fill this up with however many litres of fertiliser that was. Now let's fill this up with... Oh, there's no seed left. Really? I thought there was 2,000 litres of seed in. Unless have we gone to this one? Let's just pull back a bit. That's interesting. I honestly thought there was... Oh, wrong button. So if we go to here, there's no more storage space. That must be full. Use... Well, that's not interesting. So let's go. No more storage. Ah, seeds. Here we go. So let's just put 1,000 litres of seed into there, which that's brought us to 5,300. So I just bought seeds that I didn't need to buy. What? Oh, this was one thing I was slightly dubious about, was putting them all so close together. Well, anyway, let's try again. So let's pull up to here. Seed, no, so I think that's registering that first silo. Alright, what are we registering here? I don't think it's registered that, the middle silo. There, is that going to get it for us? Oh, why is it doing this to me? Come on. No. Interesting. How am I going to get these seeds out then if it's not going to let me have them? Right, there we go. Got it. So we can fill that up with seed. If we just have a quick tab through. So he has, what, 2 headlands, 3 headlands left to go. And then I already know this worker, it happened last time, and I don't know whether it's because with the alfalfa, you do end up cutting a bit of grass in. That's why you can see the different colour and texture. So the lighter texture is grass hay, the darker one is alfalfa hay. So anyways, I've just had to bob this worker onto course plate to hopefully avoid it doing that again. Right, let's go get this, and we'll make our way. Let's just change to corn first. There, and we'll make our way over to our new field, because I don't think we've properly gone and inspected it. This is the first time I've gone down this road on this map. Obviously we've seen it from over there, but yeah, I've never actually ventured down here before. So let's we'll be really cheeky and we'll turn around in the neighbour's field. And to be fair, that wouldn't be a bad alfalfa field to go and buy. So let's drop this off. And we'll go this way around. It's a fair drop, that. We'll get this put on. And the one thing that'd be nice about this field, drilling it, is it's fair dues, it's narrow but it's long and straight, so there's not as much turning as what we've just done in the previous field. So let's put that on and get that folded. If we go back to our GPS, let's put that on, and that looks like our first width to go on, doing two tram lines, not two tram lines, two headlands, which I much prefer doing two headlands. Right, we will get this cracked on, and let's just see what the difference is. What I am very interested to see is when we finish here, to then have a look and see whether this has got already had its rolled state done or not. And funnily enough, it's the complete opposite to soybeans. So we use a lot of fertiliser, but very very little seed. So on to here. So needs rolling. Yeah, so now we don't need to roll that. So we only need to get a roller just to roll 32, and that's it. So we, well, that saved a huge job as that. Funny we can go through the crosses, the sort of the no entrance that way, but we probably won't be able to drive straight into them. So I should lift that up, just damaging the planter there. Let's unfold and drop it off. We'll get this back to the yard. We will check on, so you can see our John Deere is still on tedding. That's interesting. That shouldn't have taken that long. And we'll go check on the ploughman, and then that'll be it for this episode. And then the next one, we've got some windrowing to do of the alfalfa hay. We've got rolling to do, baling to do, and then some more planting. So I'm just going to spin this round and leave this here, just in case we fancy washing it. So let's turn that off and let's have a flick. I'll tell you what, if we've just caught him at the very end, that's very good timing. This week's going to say worker finished. Look at that. We now have our big field fully ploughed. So let's fold this up and we can bring this back now. And I don't know when we'll next need this. Right, because I'm unsure, is it every 3 years you need to plough, or is it after every root crop? This is what I'm unsure about. But I know one thing, we're going to put the case can go onto the press, and the case can press this whilst we do our other jobs in the John Deere, because I think we've neglected this John Deere a fair bit, as well as that old one. We've only just started using that since we've been making mixes for the animals. And we've got an escape cow over there. But anyways, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe. You know, any input into series is greatly appreciated. And I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye for now.